Good morning! It's time for Groovi Tuesday. How is everyone? I think we've got going on this one, I think, so far. Let's have a look. Yes, Tuesday already. Hopefully I'll get the all clear from Jilly to say that the sound is good and I'm not just talking to myself again today. So, how are you all doing? Anybody there yet? Tuesday. Can't believe this weather. It goes from one extreme to the other. Let's have a look there. There we go. Sound is good from Jilly. Thank you, Jilly. Jilly's in the room, so if you've got any questions, then just ask. Or if you're looking for anything, then Jilly's there to help. And along with the design team, I see the lovely Josie Davidson's in the room. And no doubt we'll see lots of other of our lovely design team members in the room as well. So, as I say, don't be afraid to ask. No question's ever a silly question, because if you don't know the answer, you're not going to know, are you? So, right, okay. Let's have a look. Let's get going, I think. We'll give it a time for people to join, to pull up a seat, get your coffee, or your tea, or your hot chocolate. Get that ready. Oh, look, the lovely Hazel's in the room today as well. Hi, Hazel. So, mouse has gone a bit funny. Right, let me move that out of the way. There we go. Super duper. How are we all doing today? Tuesday, Groovi Tuesday. So, yeah, it's been a mad 24 hours, 24, 48. I don't know, time just, each hour just rolls into one. So I hope you're all well, you're all staying safe, and all being creative as well. It's amazing looking on Groovi Worldwide, Clarity Worldwide, see all the stuff that you come up with. It just blows me away, it really does. And it's amazing how people interpret stamps and Groovi and the stencils in different ways and come up with different ideas. And I think that's one of the great things by having such a wide and varied, fantastic design team, is that you can send the same product out to all those lovely ladies, and what you get back, they can look so different. So it's all about sort of just sharing that knowledge and seeing what else we can sort of come up with. So today, what I thought we'd do, I've finished off my card from last week. Did you all finish yours? We did the mounting, the different ways of finishing off, didn't we? I showed you how you could wrap it around the card, use the brads, use the aperture. So for my one, I went with the aperture. Well, it helps if I get it the right way around. There we go. So that's what I did with my one. What did you do with yours? Did you go with the aperture? Did you go with the corner punches? I think it's just a nice way, and I've done mine as what Bob calls like a tent card, so it opens from the top. And I use that beautiful Indian summer designer paper in the background. I must admit, this is one of my all-time favourite plates, and it's just, there's just so much to do with it. And so I thought what we're going to do this week is we're going to turn a circle into a square. And I think I gave you a little sneaky peek last week on where we were heading. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at that plate again. We're going to incorporate the nested squares that comes in the starter kit in both sizes. And we're going to create a frame, but we're also going to use those little letterboxes on the starter kit as well. And I thought what we'll do, we'll have a play, I can show you how to extend it, because on the sample that we worked on, we did it outside of the boxes. Let me just bring this in here so you can sort of have a closer look, just in case you missed it last week. Now, don't forget, you can obviously go back onto the YouTube and on Facebook and watch all of the previous episodes. I can't believe we're on episode 6 already. But you know what? It's all about sort of learning and having a play and seeing what we can come up with. And we're going to revisit what we've done in the previous 5 weeks and put it to use in a different style of card. So, are we all good to go? I thought what we'd do, just get people a chance to join us and get comfortable and get all their bits and pieces together, because we're going to need the starter kit, we're going to need the butterfly wreath, and just some clear parchment. That's all we're going to use for today, and we're going to incorporate some of the things that we've covered over the past and sort of build on that and change it, just step it up a little bit, get a little bit more confident with what we're doing. But whilst we're waiting for that, I thought I'd show off the beautiful Time for Tea and Time for Coffee collection from the lovely Linda Williams. Her designs are just exquisite, and I had the honour and the pleasure of showcasing those on Hochanda as part of the one day special. So if you missed any of those shows, you can go to the Hochanda website and you can watch them on Rewind, because with the TV shows, there's never ever enough time to complete different bits and pieces of it, because the time just runs away with you. So I thought what we'll do, we'll just have a look at some of that beautiful artwork as well, just in case you missed out on it. So let's have a look. This is the piece that Linda created using those beautiful plates. So it's a set of 8 different plates, A5 square, and we had the Time for Tea, the Time for Coffee, and then we had the beautiful Welsh dresser. I can say it today, isn't that funny? Right. I really struggle. I have to think about it and go slow when I'm talking about it. But look at this. I mean, it's just on clear parchment. And if you're new to the Groovi system, you really can, and I'm not just saying it for effect, you can achieve this beautiful look. It's all about, as we said when we started doing the Groovi Tuesday, about being on that bus journey. And the only bit that we haven't covered yet, which we'll cover when we go that little bit further on our journey, is the picot cutting. But we need to take it one step at a time. And so I thought we'd really sort of have a look at what Linda did on this piece. So if I bring this in on this camera here, you can really see, I mean, look at that. And all that is we've done it, we've introduced colour during the Groovi Tuesday, and where we've done the colour on the background, and this was using the pergolina pencils. So when we coloured in our flowers, it's the same technique. You can get that same thing. And what I love is that Linda, being sort of a master Pergamano tutor, that she actually coloured in areas with a white pencil. So even if your white even if your white work, you haven't got to that stage yet, then you can always use a white pencil. Okay, so that was that beautiful piece there. I absolutely love that. Then we've got this lovely piece by Josie Davidson. You've got that beautiful cake stand, and I showed how you can use the Posca pens on the front of the parchment. So if I bring this in here, you'll see, look at that, you've got that beautiful sort of metallic shimmer on the cake slice and the knife. So we've got the Posca pens on our website if you was interested in those, but I know a lot of you have already got those from being in the Shack. And then this, I think this is my favourite. I think it's the colour tones. This is using our beautiful peach and nutmeg two-tone pack. So the darker colour in the background is the beautiful nutmeg, and then we've got the lovely peachy colour as well. But I just love, again, very simple to achieve by taking the colour out of the parchment, reintroducing, that was just using 2 pencils, 2 of the B pencils to create that beautiful shading. Absolutely gorgeous. I really love that colourway. Then we've got this lovely piece by the lovely James Helford. And we showed on this one how to do picot cutting if you wanted to. But you know what? Again, you don't have to. We concentrated on a panel. So just because Jane's done a lovely sampler, I mean, look, just that coffee cup on its own, you could do. You could have a stack of coffee cups. But isn't that gorgeous? With the mirror card behind it. And on my one I showed yesterday, I had the beautiful Waimea Falls behind it as well. Okay, now this one, this to me is sort of proper trad parching. I think it's because it's just the elegance of that beautiful lace work around the outside using an element of one of those plates. Absolutely gorgeous. And again, let me just bring this in so you can really appreciate. I just love these designs. I mean, just these little patterns on the teapots. You could just do repeat patterns all over. And this was just using the tablecloth that was on the plate. Who'd have thought that? Linda is so clever with her design and her style, and in the way in which she sort of thinks about when she's putting the plates together. And then we have the beautiful Welsh dresser. I absolutely adore this plate because again, you can break it down. You've got a beautiful sort of old vintage desk. You've got just the bookcase at the top. So you've got lovely little books on the plate as well. So you can continue that over. So I just wanted to really sort of show these off. And again, it's just using the beautiful blue parchment and then with just some blue colour applied behind it to intensify it. Absolutely gorgeous. So, are we ready to get groovy? Okay. So, as we said, we're going to need our starter kit, the tools that come in the starter kit, the nested squares and the lovely butterfly reef plate. And we're just going to do it, we're going to do it in real time, we're going to chill out, and I'm going to give you a few more little hints and tips on how to sort of just build up and take that circle and turn it into a square. So we're going to do something similar to this. Now I had a bit of a play this morning because I thought that looked a little bit jumbled in that corner. So we're going to adapt it. And what we're going to do is, let me just show, I created a template to make sure that it would work to start with. So instead of having the words in the corner, what we're going to head towards is putting the letter boxes at the top and the bottom, and we're going to say with love. Okay, so again, just that on its own, that's just using the nested squares and those gorgeous little letter boxes to create like a frame. And you could take, if you've gone for the lovely plates from the one day special we had on yesterday, imagine putting that beautiful border in there as well. And because we've got straight lines as well, we can just trim that down with a craft knife and a ruler and job's done. Use the corner punches to attach it. We can do the wrap around. We can put an aperture around it. It's all about sort of just experimenting. And at the end of the day, it's a piece of parchment. That's all it is, a piece of parchment. And the Groovi system makes it so achievable. And it's great that sort of like after these shows and when we do the TV shows and we see that we've sold some starter kits and you think, yeah, there's another Groovi addict out there. So I'm just going to have a sip of coffee. Tea or coffee? What are we all drinking today? Mine's definitely coffee every day. Oh, lovely. Right, okay, let's get started then. Are we all ready? Are we all good to go? Okie dokie. So to start off with, remember how I say that if you always start off with the plate mate in the same place, and we're going to take our nested squares and we're going to pop that in there. So the nested squares come in the starter kit, whether you've gone for the larger one or the smaller one. You can repeat exactly what I'm doing, but just in a mini version. Then I'm going to take a piece of the A5 parchment. I'm going to line it up exactly as I always do with the width of the plate mate, and the same, it's lined up with the top and the bottom of the plate inside. Okay, so make sure that's held nice and securely. We take our tumble dry sheet and we just wipe over. And what we're doing first is we're creating the outer frame to give us our positioning. So we're going to stick with the number 1 tool that comes in the starter kit that gives you that crisp white line. And if you've got a Groovi guard, then it's a really good idea to take that Groovi guard up to that edge. Okay, and then we're just going to trace out that straight line. Now, as I said yesterday on TV, if you caught it, there's no rules to say that you've got to get that crisp white line straight away. If you don't have the pressure in your hand, then you just go over it a couple of times. And as long as you're using the right tool and the right parchment and the right plate, then you'll always get that beautiful crisp line. So I prefer to turn the plate around. Okay, and then we'll turn that again. And then we complete the outer frame. Okay, nice and easy. So just gonna do that. The other thing with the guard being there is if you go too fast, then you can potentially jump into the next line, which we don't want to do really. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. You just start with another piece of parchment. So then the next thing we're going to do is we need to position our letterboxes that are here on the plate mate. But we need to have a sort of a guide on where we're going to position them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little dot. We're going to go, so we've done the outer edge, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to come into 4 and put a little dot in each corner of that fourth square in. Okay, see if we can see on there. So little dot, and then there and in the other corner as well. Okay. And what that's going to do, it's going to give us a little visual guide on where we're going to put our boxes. So now the fun begins. At this stage of the game, it's all we've done is a square. So if it goes wrong at this stage, don't worry about it. Just get another piece of parchment. Okay. So then, because we've got these little dots there, then what we can do, we can work out, we're looking at the set of 3 boxes on this one. And what I'm going to do is I want it to sit half in and half out. Let me bring that piece in that I showed you earlier so you can see where we're heading. Okay, so we need it further enough away from the outer edge, but it also needs to be sort of central to those 2 little dots. Okay, so a good idea to do, it's all about sort of positioning. So I reckon it's about there. So when I look at my positioning on here, am I doing this right, or do I need to come over a bit more? I think I need to come over one more, because we're going to put one more square in there. Yeah, I reckon that's right. Okay, I'm going to check. Okay. See, I've done the hard work for you. Right, so that's there. So actually, I need to go over one more. And when I say go over one more, what I'm doing is I'm looking at the straight lines on the plate here. I need to, come on Paul. Right, let me get it in place first. I'll use my Groovi and then I'll explain and show you what I've done. So let me just double check my little template. Where am I going? Oh, I've put the dots in the wrong place. But you know what? I needed to come in one first. That's why it wasn't working for me. But you know, I said if it goes wrong, but I'm not worried about those dots because we're going to hide those. So rewind, pop it back into place, and you'll find that it slots back in. Oh dear Paul, maybe you need some more coffee. So the dots are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's put a little dot there. Let me just check that. Yeah, the 5th one in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now if you want to start again, you can, but those little dots we put there are going to get hidden anyway, so I really wouldn't worry about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dot. That's better. Okie dokie. Let's try that again. So now, oh dear, you've got to laugh, haven't you? What's the point of getting upset about a piece of parchment? Oh dear, oh dear. Right, let me get this right first to make sure I'm in the right place, and then I'll tell you where we're going. I bet we're going back to bed, I think, at this rate. Alright, let me check with my little... See, that's why it's good to have a template. I didn't even think about what I was doing when I did this one. I just did it. Right, okay. So we're in the right position. So, you've got the top of the box, and you've got your nested square underneath. So what you want to do, this straight edge here to your right, needs to be lined up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 7th line in. Okay, and then the bottom line, we're going to work from the center and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the 5th line. And what that does, it gives you the guide to make sure that it's nice and straight. Okay, so the nested square is great for sort of helping with alignment if that's all you've got to work with. Okie doke. Well, I've just seen a comment, Brenda, laugh, I nearly bought a round. Well, if you bought the round, that might have been easier, who knows. Right, drop of coffee. So what we're going to do first is we're going to trace out these 3 squares. Okay, nice and easy. The work's all been done there for you. So you're just going to follow. I'm going with the number 1 tool again. Okay, so we've got our set of 3 boxes. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my parchment up. I'm going to slide it along and I'm going to line up this box over the top of this box here. Okay, so if I go and line that up there, and again it falls into the slot because all the boxes are the same size. So, and then what we'll do is we'll trace out the 4th box. There we go. So that's completed the top part of our panel. Then if we spin that round and we repeat the same process. So again, we're going to come over, we're going to go up, position that was on that one, wasn't it? There we go. That goes on there. Tape it down with our Groovi tabs once we're happy it's in position. And then we're going to repeat that process. Okay, I bet everybody at home did the dots in the wrong place, the same as me. But it doesn't matter, it's a tiny... I suppose in hindsight I could have done it with a pencil and then we could have rubbed it out, but don't worry. We'll hide that little dot. So again, repeat the process, line it up into that box. So it means with these little boxes you can extend the word to whatever size you want it to be. Okay, so let's have a look. So this is what we've ended up with so far. So we've got our boxes at the top, our boxes at the bottom, and then we've got our various little dots, the right dots and the wrong dots. Can't believe I did that, but hey ho. It is what it is, and it's a bit of parchment. So another drop of coffee. I think I'll just get a drip of coffee. I think that'll help today. Oh dear. Right, we're ready to carry on. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go back to our starting position. We're going to take our parchment, and because we always line it up with the side, and we line it up the top and the bottom, it makes it easier to reposition. Okay, so we're going to tape that down, and what we now want to do is to complete our square. Now we're going with 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th one in. Okay, so the 5th one in, and we're going to come down. We're going to come across and we're going to stop at the box. Okay, so what we can do is we can go along and complete that box just there. See, there we go. I mean, if we wanted to, Barb's just texted it as a really good suggestion. We could make a double frame on there as well, and that would look real. Sometimes having a close together, yeah, let's do that. That's a good idea, Barb. So what we'll do is we'll do that, and we'll come across and we'll join up those dots as well. Easy peasy. There we go. So now, when we turn that over, we've got that lovely double frame, and then we've got the large frame. So it gives the illusion of sort of like matting and layering, doesn't it? Okay, so mine here is a little bit thready. It's just the perfectionist in me. So what I'm going to do is reposition that, pop it back into place. And all it is, the reason it's a little bit thready is because I didn't put enough pressure on. So let me just make sure it's definitely in the right place. There we go, that's much better. And on the same on that one. Yep, I'm happy with that. Okie dokie. So that, I mean, that's a nice template that would work for so many different cards as well. I mean, if you've gone for the one day special we had on yesterday, let me just grab one of the plates, because I know, I say I know, I'm going to guess. Look, that teapot, that lovely little teapot would fit perfectly inside there. See, it's all about, once you've got the basis of a frame, then it's great, because it confines the area in which you're working, and you don't get overpowered by sort of thinking, oh, I've got to fill the whole piece of A5 parchment or the A4 parchment. That frame, we could drop the outer one and you could just have the smaller section as well. It's all about sort of having an idea on where you're sort of heading, excuse me, of where you're heading, and playing with the parchment. I mean, what I did when I did my first one, this one here, I did it, and then I took the butterfly plate to make sure that my butterfly was going to sit in the middle of it, you see, because if it didn't, then I knew that I'd need to adapt it to make the frame bigger, or I could make it smaller as well. So I think the first thing we're going to do now is we're going to put our sentiment in. Now, I've kept it sort of nice and simple. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take that piece of parchment, and remember the trick of writing on a piece of parchment and then turning it over so you can read it backwards, because when we're working with words on parchment, we're working back to front. Okay, so I'm going to take my pen and we're going to go with love. Okay, so we've spelt that out the right way, and then we're going to flip it over so that we can spell it backwards. Okay, so in comes the platemate. I'm going to pop the nested squares back in there so it gives me something to lean on. I mean, the other option is that you could take a white pencil and you could pencil in your letters as well if you're not sure, because you can rub that out. As long as you do it on the front, it's a lot easier. So let's see if I'm going to spell this right now. Look, let me bring my piece of paper in. We're going to pop that onto there. Actually, let me just trim that down, because I don't need that whole piece, because it's going to block what I'm working on. So trim that down. I've got my nice piece there. Let me just bring that down so you can see that as well. Pop that in, and we're going to go with the number 1 tool, and we're going to go, I mean, I can go from left to right backwards, but it's easier to go from right to left. So we're going to start off with our W. We're going to trace that out, and again I'm using the number 1 tool so I get a really nice crisp line. Then I want the I. There we go, there's the I up there. And what I'm doing, I'm turning my parchment so that they sit inside the boxes, and so the bottom of the letter is sort of straight against the bottom of the box. Then I want my T, or coffee for me, but we're going to go with T along there. Okay, so we've got the T, and then we want the H. Now again, with the letterboxes and the frame that you're using, you can put any name in here. You could put for example, you're not restricted. The only thing that restricts you is your frame. So if you create that template, if you know what you want to say and you create this template, you can see how big you need your frame to be. And then we're going to go love. So we've got L down here. Okay. Whee. Slow down. There's no race. And then we want O, which is over here. O is over here. There we go. And then we want V. Just there. There we go. Nice and easy. And then our letter E. And fingers crossed, when we turn this over, it will say, with love. Ready? Should we see whether it's right or not? Ta-da! With love. There we go. So that, believe it or not, it was the easy part. But we've done this before, didn't we? We did it with that beautiful card, but without the assistance of the letterboxes. Okay. So it's all about sort of just building up the basics first, because what's going to take us our time is infilling this frame with all the beautiful flowers on the butterfly wreath. So if we've done the basics first, and we've done the spelling correct, that's the key thing, because you don't want to put all those flowers in and then come to do words and it's spelt wrong, and then you've got to start again. So I find it's easier to put my words in first, so that if I do make a mistake, that's all I'm wasting is that. Okay. So let's swap out to the lovely butterfly wreath now. And we're going to pop that in. How are we doing? Have we managed to do that? Have we got any spelling mistakes or boxes in the wrong places? I'm sure you're perfect at doing this, because you're in the comfort of your own home. Nobody's watching. Oh dear. Right. Okay. I've just had a thought. You know what else would look really nice in the middle of these? Let me just show you. Let's bring that one in. At the moment, if you read Barb's blog on a regular basis, yesterday's blog, she did a fantastic special offer on the beautiful, beautiful floral alphabet that she illustrated. And for me, it's one of those essentials, because it combines a really useful alphabet plus some beautiful flowers. And I saw Barbara illustrate them by hand, and they're absolutely gorgeous. So for example, I could take, for example, I've got a couple of the plates here. I've got the lovely A for alliums. There we go. A for alliums. So what I could have done was not done the boxes, or I could have done them further apart and popped in the A with the beautiful alliums on there. I mean, look at that. So not only have you got your main focal letter, but you've got uppercase, or you've got your capital letters in 2 additional sizes, and then you've got the lowercase in another 2 sizes. So this is great. So if you wanted to spell out Anna or Annabelle, you've got your main focal letter, and then you can spell it out with the lowercase ones on the alphabet. So we've got the A there. We've then got the beautiful B. I love this. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce this flower. It's like, yeah, Bougainvillea. You get the drift. It's that flower, but it's absolutely gorgeous. A was for allium, B for that, and then we've got the lovely C there. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm just trying to remember what that one is. No, it'll come to me. It'll come to me, or Barb will text me and say, that's what that one's called. So you've got the beautiful alphabet, and obviously these, if you've got the mini starter kit, fit perfectly within the plate mate. But if you've got the larger starter kit, then you've got the adapter plate. If you bought it since January 2021, it comes with the inset plate. Cornflower, thank you Jane, I've just seen that. Cornflower, that's what this one is. There we go. So we've got that, and then you've got the gorgeous numbers. So we've got number 1, and again you've got your main focal number, and you've got the 4 additional different sizes. You've got the number 2, again gorgeous flowers on there, and then you've got the number 3. See, so obviously you've got that on the offer that Barb's put on her blog, which is barbaragrayblog.com. Oh, and the other thing which is really key, if you're new to Groovi, then check out our II books. These are fantastic. So when you buy the bundle, you get this II book as well. And what it is, it's a beautiful design team. So this piece here is done by Maggie Byford, and you've got an instructions of what plates and papers Maggie's used, and then just giving you some basic instructions on how to sort of get going. And when you flick through, you've got some stunning artwork, and it is, you can incorporate, like for example this one here, the background to this M. Then what you could do is you could use that butterfly. Let me bring it on here so you can have a look in more detail. So when you have a look at this, where are we going? There we go. See that background? You could use the flowers from the butterfly wreath to infill, see? Or you just take other elements from the plate. Got F for, oh look, lovely one. I knew this was going to be Jane's one because it's pink. Look at that. F for fuchsia. Isn't that gorgeous? And the inside of all of this is all achievable if you're starting out, because it's beautiful artwork, say illustrated by Barbara, and it's just, look, you've got, let me show you on the back. So you've got the full alphabet there, you've got an index of accessories, and you've got, yeah, it's just absolute orchid. I love the orchid one. Where's that gone? Absolutely gorgeous. So there is a really good deal on it. The complete numbers and alphabet, you've got a massive saving on it, which means that you're going to get the numbers for free. That's what it works out. And if you're a club member as well, you get your club discount on top of that. So if you're thinking about, oh, what's the club about? Check out our website. We do a Groovi, we do a stamp, a stencil, a die club. And what that does, for the whole year, you get beautiful projects, and it gives you a 10 or 15% discount depending on how many clubs you join. So if you're thinking, I'm getting into this Groovi thing now, so let's have a look at the clubs and take advantage of that. But this really is fantastic, and you get all the plates, you get 2 folders to store it all in, and you get the II book as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back. Hopefully that's given you a chance just to sort of catch up the little bits and pieces. So we've got the butterfly wreath here, and now what we're going to do, this is where we get a little bit more adventurous. Previously, as you know, we sort of just traced out the plate exactly how it came, and we just stopped at certain points to create that partial circle. But now we're going to get a little bit more creative, and we're going to have a look at the designs, and we're going to take elements of it and infill. Okay, so everyone's going to be slightly different, which is great. So I'm going to take my number 1 tool, and I'm going to start off here, and I'm just going to trace out this part of this design here. Okay. Now if you find that again your tool's not gliding as smoothly as it should be, then just give it a little wipe. See, and we turn that over. See, I quite like that. I could put that in all 4 corners, but I think we'll go a little bit more random. One of the other great things about those beautiful Groovi plates is, I mean, obviously we've got Mother's Day coming up, we've got so many special occasions, but these are flowers that are going to live forever. It's not going to be like you go to the florist, you buy a bouquet or a bunch of flowers, and a week later they're outside on the compost heap. With these, they just keep giving and giving and giving. And when you start tracing them out, you know how I say that when you get a new plate home, if you trace it out, you'll see different things to it. And it's the same with this beautiful floral alphabet as well. But again, they're flowers that are going to last forever. I mean, they make beautiful just monograms. You can get those cheap frames, or the stamp board frames that we've got on our website that we recently launched. They'd be fantastic to frame that, and you could always sort of dust over with a brush and some ink to tone in with the colour. Yeah, they'd be and so it becomes a card as well as a gift that you can bring out year and year again. So let's carry on and have a look at the plates, and we'll just look at different areas. Now, on the plate where we've got like little leaves on here, let me bring this one in here, where we've got like the little leaves. If we want, remember we was doing some white work the other week. So if you know you want to do some white work, what we're going to do is we're going to swap over to the number 2 end of the tool, so that we can then break down that line more easily. So for example, if I want to take this little element here, and don't forget, turn your plates around and look at things in different directions. So maybe that's a little bit too big for that one, but look, I've got another smaller one over here. So I'm going to go with that one, and number 2 tool to trace out the circles. See? And then I'm going to go to the number 1 tool to get my crisp white line. See? So then when we turn that over, we can see the difference. Let me just hold that up. So you can see the difference where we've used the number 2 tool. So I'm going to do white work in those areas there. Okay. So we're going to just carry on and just build up different areas of it. So let's see. So we can take individual leaves, we can take parts of the flowers. Let me get rid of that Groovi tab because I keep catching that. Okay, let's have a look. I like the tulip. So again, the great thing with the Groovi system is that you can just take part of a design as well. So I'm going to keep those leaves solid. And then I like this funky little cone type one. I mean, you haven't got to fill the whole plate up or the whole frame with the design. See, I could just go with one line in the middle, but we'll carry on and we'll just do the second one. So again, it's just getting that confidence to have a look at the plate and dissect it. And it's when you're doing this that you'll see different areas. So I'm going to be a little bit adventurous, and on this one I'm going to come off the frame, but I'm going to stay within the frame. So if I go outwards from that solid line, if I do that bit first, then I know I'm not going to get carried away. Maybe if we come over on that one. See, so I started from the line and I pushed out into the area that I'm working. And what that does, it gives it more of a real sort of arty look, that it's not sort of so regimented, you see. So we'll just carry on. It doesn't take long to do. Once you sort of get into the swing of things, we've got like a little, it looks like a little beach ball really. You're just gonna build up and work your way around. See, I like this little flower, and it change, if you move the parchment or you move the plate, you'll see how things sort of just slot in differently. So again, so I know everybody's ones is going to be slightly different. Just be brave. At the end of the day, it's a little bit of parchment. Alright, so we've got that little star there. Maybe I'll put that star in that corner. See? There is so much on this plate. And the idea, if you get the main ones in first, if you think, oh, it looks a little bit empty, then you can always go in and infill it with other elements. So like for example on this one, I'm going to take this stem and bring that coming out of there. See? Are we all okay? Are we happy with this? And on these little dots here, I'm going to jump to the number 2 because I want to do some white work on those. So then I can just take that little dot and I can put a little dot there. See, those little dots are great for infilling different areas. So we'll carry on building up our design. Let's see, what else can we use? Let's go with this one. I like this one. So again, number 1 tool. Whee, there we go. And if you're going to stay within the frame, then it's a good idea to start on that line and go inwards rather than start at the top of the flower and come down, because you will get carried away with that line and you'll forget that there's a straight line there. So I always find it's easiest to start from where we want to go and then push out. Okay, so we're going to carry on just building. I'm going to do the stalk on this one with the number 1, and then I'm going to do the number 2 on the little leaves. And at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong to say this flower needs to go here, this one needs to go there. You're building up your confidence in relation to your design. You see? So we'll take that big flower there and we'll just offset that. And all of a sudden you start to build up this lovely medley of flowers. Okay? So we're going to build this up and we're going to carry on working around. See, look, I love this little one here. So let's see, let's pop that one on this. And I'm going to pop another one just in here. But let's put some bigger flowers. Oh, I loved it. Now this reminds me, if you was in the shack with Barb yesterday, this is very similar in style to that beautiful watercolour that she did. I absolutely loved yesterday's shack. I wanted to have a play, but I didn't get the chance to. I just love that effect of that watercolour. And Barb just breaks it down so easily, and it's amazing how from a piece of paper you can create something as gorgeous as that. And what we're doing with this plate, you could do with the flowers from the floral alphabet as well, because there's so many different blooms on there that you can pick and choose all the different elements, from the numbers to the letters that are on there. For example, I mean, I've got the number 2 here. These funky little flowers here would be fantastic. So you could just take that one flower, let me bring it on here, that one, where are we going, this one, that one flower there, and fill the whole of this frame with that one flower. And that's all you're using, that one flower. If you took the number 1, you've got that circle with the random dot, you could do that one. Oh, I love these sort of, I love these sort of like these petals. Or let's have a look at the one that I'm not going to pronounce. You've got these lovely little flowers as well that you can fill in. The alliums. The alliums I think is one of my favourite ones. You can fill with all of this. It's amazing what you can do with the Groovi system that you can't sort of do the same with a stamp. For me, the Groovi system gives you that flexibility of being able to adapt and pick and choose the different elements of it. Let's have a look. Let's take this funky little flame type one here. So again, I'm starting on the straight line and I'm going in. Okay, and I'm going to start here and come in on this one. So rather than start here, go around, I've gone through my line. If you remember to keep starting at the straight edge, then it's really good is that hopefully you won't go over that line. And let's have a look. Let's take a little leaf it out, pop that one in there, and then let's take, oh, that's quite nice, that one there. Let's take those. This reminds me of like little snowdrops. No, lily of the valley. This reminds me of this one. Okay, so we're gonna, how are we doing for time? Wow, 10:02 already. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And then I'm gonna take, oh, so you get lost in looking at the different designs. I'm gonna put a set of those free. So number 2 tool now. Okay. And then I'm going to take that again. While I've got that there, I'm going to pop a few more little dots in there. And I think I need a little flower of some sort just down here. So let's take that one just there. Number 1 tool. Get me my crisp line. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a play with this week. And we're going to complete, as homework, what you're going to do is complete the frame. Have a look at if you've got other plates, by all means, use other little plates to infill as well. So I'm going to go with the number 2 tool here. See, I'm starting on that line again so that I don't get carried away. So for homework, what we're going to do is we're going to carry on filling in our frame. Okay, and what I'd like you to do, if you can, is put the butterfly in the middle. Okay, so we'll take the butterfly and we'll just put that in the middle of our design. Okay, and remembering that when we do the butterfly, all these lovely little dots on it, I mean, you don't have to put the dots in. Maybe try leaving the dots out if you want. Again, it's that versatility. So when you do if you choose to put them in, use the number 2 tool to give you the softer line, so it's easier for when we do the white work. I mean, I can even take the dots from the butterfly and infill. So if I go, oh, you know what's really nice? On the plate, mate, you've got this little asterisk. Ooh, where we go? There we go. Look outside the box. This makes a fantastic little flower as well. Have I got enough room to, I haven't got enough room to put one in. Let me show you what it looks like. Let me take that scrap of parchment, give that a wipe. See, you've got a funky little flower on there as well. So it's surprising what you can find on the plate, mate, how useful that is. What else have we got? Let's have a look. So I'm sort of happy with that, but I want to put a little bit more detail in. So where I've got these sort of more open areas, this is really where that set of 3 little dots, or we've got the little dot in there, we've got little dots here, we've got little leaves. So let's have a look. I'm going to go... See, so this is where we're experimenting, really, aren't we? And we're just learning to get comfortable with what we're doing. And again, it's not over until it's over, until you finish. And it's just bringing all the things that we've learned over the last couple of weeks, and we're bringing it together, but in a different format. So it shows that the circle can indeed become a square. Okay, so let's put another little, see these little dots in the centre of that flower is really good for infilling, and I'm using the number 2 tool so it'll be easier for me to create the white work in those areas. Is it? No, I still again, it's that, no, as Barb says, it's knowing when to stop, when's enough is enough. Let's have a look. I still feel it needs some little more bits and pieces. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to take let's go. See, again, if you go off that edge start on the straight line, come inwards, just like that. See, and it just gives, I think it's nice to have those little elements coming in off of the frame so it doesn't look too regimental. It looks a little bit more arty. Just that one. So you could spend ages and ages just filling in those different areas. So I can just take one of those, popping that one in there, put another one just there. Let's take a little dot from there. We'll go to the number 2 tool. We'll do another little dot there. Ooh, that's all right. We'll do that again. Okay. How are we doing? All right. I hope I haven't confused you too much, but I think it's all about just showing how much you can get from this little plate that we've put on special offer for you, and how you can adapt it and think outside of the box but within the box. And it's all about just building up that confidence. The Groovi system gives you that first step on the confidence ladder, I think, to get that beautiful crisp white line, and quite quickly and quite easily, because again, traditionally it is a skill, and I don't take that away from people that have been doing it in the traditional method for all these years, to learn to get that right pressure to get the crisp white line. And all the Groovi system is doing is replacing that one element to be able to get that beautiful artwork. And for me, the parchment has always been sort of the white on white, or the white on the clear, without any colour at all, the beautiful lace work that Josie does and that Linda does. And so it's just, we've got that confidence to start off with. I've seen it on Facebook where you've created these beautiful butterfly reefs and everything else. And so now we're just taking it that little bit step further. We're just changing our route of our confidence a little bit further. And again, if you've got other plates in your collection, use those as well. And that floral alphabet, for me, there's so many different elements on those plates. I mean, that's the alphabet there that you can take from there. And I know Barb, between now and Sunday, she's going to be sort of showcasing different projects with the stamps, because the stamps are also on offer if you're into your stamping, and also with the Groovi as well. And Groovi Worldwide, Clarity Worldwide, there's so much help out there that if you think, oh, I've got this plate, what do I do with it? Ask if you're not sure. It's, as I say, it's always about, if you don't know the answer, it really isn't a silly question. Well, there are some silly questions, but, but you won't ask those, will you? So, so I hope you've enjoyed today. So just to recap, next week, what I'd like you to do, if you can, is complete the frame with all your tracing out, jump in between the number 1 tool and the number 2 tool, and put that lovely, lovely butterfly in the middle. Now, in between now and next week, you've got time that if you think, oh, I don't want it to say with love, I want it to say for you, just like we did, or be happy. See, happy would also, look, if I bring that in, the happy would also sit perfectly within that frame as well. So maybe just have an experiment by doing the frames, just have it like an hour or so, just sort of seeing what other words you could pop in there. Okay. So I hope you've enjoyed today and you've picked up something and you've learned something. And don't forget to like and share on Facebook. And I will see you again at 10 o'clock next Tuesday for another episode of Groovi Tuesday. Don't forget, tomorrow, Barb's back in the shack at 10 o'clock, the shack. And those beautiful, beautiful watercolour flowers. If you missed Jesse's episode, you've got to go back and watch it because it's absolutely gorgeous. I might have a go this evening when I get home, see how that goes. So once again, thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again next week. Stay home, stay happy, and be creative. Bye bye. and end.